So I am recording and everybody's muted. And I am so thrilled to have Dr. Plant on our call tonight, you guys. I mean, I know everybody knows how exciting he is and what a wealth of knowledge he is, and also just in like high demand that he is. So it's such a treat to be able to have him on tonight. But for those of you that don't know, maybe you haven't been to an event or you're not following him on Instagram and up to date, I really just want to give you a thorough and warm introduction that he absolutely deserves. So Dr. Joshua Plant joined Isagenix in May of 2019. So he's only been with us a handful of months, which is so impressive with everything that's been coming out. He is an accomplished, highly intellectual and respected professional in the preventative health and nutritional sciences industry. As the Chief Science Officer, Dr. Plant oversees the research and development, product design and development, product commercialization, and quality assurance of all of the Isagenix products. He's also the chairman of the Isagenix Scientific Advisory Board, which is a group of professionals, top medical and health professionals, who lend their experience and expertise to ensure the integrity and effectiveness of all Isagenix products. Dr. Plant attended the University of Utah and then was recruited into the biomedical doctoral program at Harvard Medical School, graduating first in his class. Prior to joining Isagenix, Dr. Plant served as the Chief Operating Officer, Formulator, and Chairman of a product advisory board for a different direct selling company. Professional inspiration and personal hobbies, because we want to get to know him. Dr. Plant believes the most exciting aspect of the direct selling industry is that it allows people to see their own potential, which helps them achieve their goals. He's married, 4 children. He enjoys racquetball, lifting weights, and reading political sci-fi books. Who would have known? So thank you so much for joining us tonight. We're so excited to have you on the call.
Oh, there we go. You and I are playing. Thank you so much for having me. This is a wonderful opportunity to be speaking to you and everyone else on this call tonight. It is an absolute honor. Lauren, you, by the way, shout out to you at Celebration. I still get shivers up my spine thinking of you on stage there, ultimately lighting tens of thousands of people absolutely on fire.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. So I know it's probably getting close to your dinner time, and I want you to be able to enjoy time with your wife and those 4 kiddos. So if you're okay with it, can we just dive right into the few questions that we have for you tonight?
Absolutely.
Okay, excellent. So the very first thing, and we'd love to know, and I was typing in the chat a little bit while we were waiting and getting some insight from some people as well. But the first thing I'd love to know is just how you found your passion for nutrition and what ultimately led you to Isagenix.
Yeah. So this is a great question. So I've always been intrigued with science, but science and nutrition always don't go hand in hand. In fact, I really didn't fall in love with nutrition and the impact that supplementation could have on people's lives until I was at the National Institutes of Health. So would have been in 2005, 2006, the National Institutes of Health awards about 10 fellows each year the opportunity to come and study at the National Institutes of Health. I was one of those. They kind of deemed them as the up-and-coming scientist. And so I went out there. I was studying breast cancer, looking at the progress of breast cancer, and I came across a statistic that was published at the National Cancer Institute that said 85 to 95% of cancers are caused by environmental toxins and lifestyle choices. And that resonated. At that same time, my grandmother was diagnosed and dying of cervical cancer. And it was at that time that I realized the greatest opportunity that I have to really change the health and wellness of the world will never be me ultimately sitting behind some lab bench trying to find a cure for a disease that could have been easily prevented if people were just empowered and with the simple knowledge of health and wellness and nutrition in their lives. And so it was at that moment and after I graduated that I really have dedicated my life to bringing inspiration and awareness that people can have huge impacts in their overall health and wellness through simple decisions they make every day. And bringing that awareness to people, I hope, would have a greater impact across the globe. And that's how I kind of fell into the nutrition realm.
That's so awesome. And I love it. I was actually just about to type that last sentence because I agree with that wholeheartedly. And I think maybe you know, maybe you don't know, I'm a clinical nutritionist. So I had a private practice and did a lot of functional medicine before I joined Isagenix. And that last sentence about how we can impact our health with our daily choices, you know, I
Yeah.
think some people think it has to be more drastic. It just really resonates with me. So what is it that led you to Isagenix? Like, how are we so blessed and so grateful to have the Dr. Bowtie?
Yeah, the Dr. Bowtie. What led me to Isagenix is largely what I'm looking at right now, and it's the associates. I think that for a true revolution to happen across the globe with respect to our health and wellness, in fact, reports suggest if we ate right, exercised, and removed toxins from our life, the lifespan would increase by 12 years. That's more impactful than finding the cure to diabetes and cancer. Eat right, exercise, and remove toxins. And as I was looking at Isagenix, there's three things that are critical for a true revolution to happen. One is it has to be a simple tool. It can't be something that's overly complicated. My goal in life is to not create millions of doctors. It is ultimately to remove millions of doctors from people's lives. And so it has to be something simple, something that people can communicate with each other. The second component is that the education surrounding this has to be very simple. So a simple tool and simple education. And then the third is I want a program that is taught by individuals, by the people that love us, and we teach it to those that we love. I always give the example of washing hands. Washing hands has been the most impactful revolutionary health and wellness thing, and well, since the beginning of time. Hundreds of millions of people's lives are saved every year because we've ultimately infiltrated every corner of the globe with the paradigm of wash your hands. And it follows this thing. It's a simple tool, that of soap. A little bit of education. Rinse your hands under water, sing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. But the third and most important thing is washing hands isn't enforced through a prescription. Washing hands is enforced by a mother who loves their child. It is enforced by the teacher who loves the student. It is enforced by those that love us, and in turn, we encourage others to do the same. And that is a recipe of a true paradigm shift. Just as washing hands has changed the way in which we look at hygiene, I truly believe Isagenix holds the tools of a simple tool that can truly change people's lives. A simple shake and cleanse system. A little bit of education that's associated with that. And the third is you guys. When I was looking at Isagenix, we have the most powerful women and men in the world representing our company. And when we unite with a collective voice, our voice will shake this earth. And that is what is so inspiring to me, is right now we have the greatest ability to change the world by ultimately uniting the 500,000 customers and associates at Isagenix and screaming from the rooftop that we have a simple solution that can change people's lives. And when that ultimately happens, and it will, and I can tell you right now, 2020, I've never been so excited for in my life. When that happens, this will be something that this revolution will be talked about for decades to come. And it's something the world is begging for. And so that's why I came to Isagenix. It was for the Lauren Sims of the world.
There's a lot of great leaders in this company, and I have learned from all of them, and I think that's amazing. And so often, I think us on the field, we lose sight of that impact that we can have. We get lost in this idea of selling, or we get lost in like the idea of rejection, that we lose sight that we really can have this revolution to impact health. And I love you just bring us back to where the company is.
Oh yeah, it's funny because I was talking with the leaders at an event the other day, and I talked to them saying, guys, 2020, giving them a little bit of a forecast of what the products that we have coming in 2020. And I said, we will make enemies. We absolutely will make enemies. But how exciting is that? Because ultimately, when you make an impact on the world, when you disrupt the status quo, it is those that are entrenched in the lifestyle, that unwillingness to change, that ultimately despise those that are changing it. And we are going to have a tremendous year of success as we explode this company next year.
That's awesome. Okay, well, that leads us into question number 2, which was like, what is it that you are most excited about in 2020? And of anything that you can drip on or tease or give insight to of what these people should be so excited about, we would love to hear that.
Yeah. Well, let me just say, when we look at what we are looking at for 2020, we aren't looking at just kind of a small little area. And this is when I was talking to people, we're going to be making some enemies. And it is because we are disrupting $1 trillion industry of not only we are going to be disrupting, supplement and food industry, but we will literally be causing a paradigm shift of how people are nourished and have been brainwashed into being nourished for the last 70 years. And we will be absolutely disrupting that and opening people's eyes to the way in which our body should inherently be nourished and the powerful tools that accompany that, and something that is so simple to communicate that after 10 seconds of somebody hearing it, they would be able to repeat this powerful concept that resonates from the new mother to all the way to the 85-year-old grandfather, the powerful components of what we're bringing. And this is something, this largely what I'm bringing in, we're bringing out next year, is something that I've envisioned for the last 15 years that needs to happen in this industry to create a huge impact. And so I'm so excited that Jim and Kathy have ultimately bought in on this. It is huge. It is huge. In fact, when I was interviewing with this and I talked to Jim and Kathy, it was an immediate like, when can we start? This is going to shake the earth. It is going to be tremendous. And so I wish I could share more. 2020 is going to be revolutionary, not only for Isagenix. Oh my goodness, Isagenix, of course it's going to be revolutionary. But it is something that is going to absolutely change the fabric of our institutions of nourishment drastically. And the fingerprint of Isagenix will be felt on so many people's lives, not only in 2020, but for the decades to come, what we are unveiling next year.
That's amazing. I actually love that line, the fingerprint of Isagenix. So one of the things that we were curious about is if you had looked at our current solutions, either with kids' health or weight loss, energy, performance, where do you envision Isagenix going? I'm going to just mute everybody again here because I think somebody got muted. Sorry about that. So where do you see that, or is it based on what you just said, something totally different? It's not even in those kind of core categories that we're accustomed to talking about.
Yeah, so it fits into this perfectly. And I would say right now what we are doing is we are sharpening the spear. And I said before, the most powerful thing that we have at Isagenix is the associates, the influence of our 500,000 associates being able to speak in unison of a powerful message. And that message is simply that Isagenix owns the nourishing and cleansing space. That simple message of nourishing and cleansing the body and giving you guys the simple value propositions that we have and no one else does to deliver those solutions will transform the world. And so we sit in a space that will revolutionize that. And so I would say right now, when we look at what we're doing, it is sharpening that spear of owning the nourishing and cleansing space.
Oh my gosh, that's brilliant. Okay, so I have one little science question for you, and then I'm going to end because I really want to honor your time tonight with the last question. But there's a lot of just kind of buzz field right now around erythritol. Isagenix has never had that as a sweetener, why we're using it. And I've done my best to answer people's questions, but I would love to hear it from the best right now. Not only why you're okay with it, but the best verbiage that people can use to kind of explain why we're using that.
Yeah, so this is best. What I always do when people ask me this, I say, hey, and I shoot them a third party, for example, like Healthline. All these other ones that more often than not just speak ill of everything. You go on it and they're like, you read it, and it's erythritol. It's a sugar alcohol. That means, this is funny, it's not a sugar, it's not an alcohol, but let's call it sugar alcohol. So people assume it's like an alcohol, I'm going to get drunk on. No. And it's not a sugar either. What it is it's compounds that are found in certain botanicals. That's it. And with that, it has a structure somewhat similar to an alcohol, somewhat similar to a sugar, so they just call it sugar alcohol, but it's technically neither. And with this, it has minimal gastrointestinal. In fact, a woman that weighs 100 pounds would have to consume 5 BIAs to ultimately experience minor discomfort, right? So that's like, oh man, trust me, after 5 BIAs, the least of your concerns is a little bit of intestinal discomfort. Your concern is ultimately, how do I come off of the ceiling that I'm on? And then what we have is erythritol is not only to where there's no calories associated with it, there's been wonderful studies associated with it with respect to heart health and a variety of other associated benefits. And so the combination of combining erythritol, which it is actually in a couple of our isoline bars and so forth, with stevia, actually gives you a unique ability to have a very great uniform pellet. What the BIA is so remarkable, to where we have put raw nutrients in. The nutrients actually derived from fruits and vegetables, the first of its kind. It's not any type of synthetic components that you find in other energy drinks. It's raw nutrients from fruits and vegetables, and the equivalents of so many. It's like eating like a couple of salads in that BIA can. But utilizing it and making it so that it's palpable without added sugar is a miraculous event in of itself. So your resveratrol, no, it doesn't spike blood sugar. It is not associated with any adverse effects. No side effects have really been discovered outside of people who would consume the equivalent of, if you're a 100-pound woman consuming, or a 100-pound man or woman consuming more 5 BIAs. So a person who weighs 200 pounds would have to consume 10 BIAs. I consume about 8 a day, so I'm topping out. But then also the auxiliary benefits that come with that, such as heart health and others. And so you have just this wonderful thing that gives you sweetness, natural, but is out there. And here's the challenge, is you will never find a perfect sweetener. The reason is the mainstream media has come in and has ultimately contaminated everything. Sugar, problems with that. Stevia, problems with that. Artificial sweeteners, obviously problems with that. And so they come through and you won't find it. And so what happens is you will never ultimately appease the masses. But the most scientifically sound, beneficial sweetening profile is that which is in the BS right now.
I love it. And that's perfect. And there's such great verbiage on here. So the last thing, and you actually like alluded to it by just saying Isagenix is like going to own the nutritional or the nourishing and cleansing space. But if you could give any tips for how the field can be introducing Isagenix, or just some bullet points of what makes us competitive in the market, unique in the market. I think often they're like, everybody's selling supplements these days. Everybody has their product. Everybody's doing intermittent fasting. And I don't agree with that, but to hear it from you, like what is dynamic for us? Like I would love for them to learn from you.
Yeah. This one is best. And I love answering this. The power is in the system. Everyone is out there pushing something. But the difference is ultimately Isagenix has results. And if you get down into the specifics of ingredients, I was talking to a group of people yesterday about this. A good company will innovate and talk about the innovation. A great company will innovate and utilize that innovation for the customer experience. And so we are a great company. We have done wonderful innovation with respect to our products, to the tune of where we have done third-party clinical studies that have yielded 2 pounds per week as the average. Usually you have these disclaimers of the before and after. You know, you see the infomercials at 2 a.m. You've had your second bag of Doritos. You're feeling guilty. You're watching the infomercial. They see these before and afters. And then you see results not typical. Average results are 2 pounds over 14 years, right? Or whatever it is. Ours, this is what's crazy. Typical results, 24 pounds over 12 weeks. You can't tell me, guys, we have scientific evidence to say, just if you want to lose 24 pounds, this works. That is the average of what people get. That is unheard of as a scientist. And what's crazy is you extend that out over a year, the weight remains off. And so this isn't a diet. This is a lifestyle that is absolutely effective. And so what makes Isagenix, if you're getting down into the specifics of random ingredients, you're talking about the innovation. You need to understand that the reason that there's the innovation is for the experience of the individual. And Isagenix works. So many other companies out there do not do that third-party studies, the clinical studies. They simply just will harp on a little thing here and there and lead you to believe it is miraculous. But when it boils down to it, scientifically, I have never come across data as strong as the Isagenix system of shake days and cleanse for best results. Hands down, scientifically, the best products out there.
That's so good. That's so good. I'm going to finish that afterwards. So we're so grateful to have you on here. I'm so excited for New Year's kickoff and all the information that's out there. I thank you for your energy. I mean, that's the enthusiasm and the vibrancy and the excitement.
Oh, I'm just trying to be you on stage.
There's so many people that are like, we don't even know what we're excited about, what we're excited about. And I love that. So any final words, if there's any tips, anything that you just want to leave everybody with tonight, besides not have stuffing next week.
Yeah. Right now is the apex of your opportunity of momentum. Right now is the greatest opportunity for you to not only change your life, but most importantly, the generational impact that your decisions make today. Right? What we do today is not just for tomorrow. What we do today will resonate for generations. We ultimately, beginning at NYKO, are tossing a mighty rock into a big pond, and it's going to ripple for years to come. And NYKO is just the beginning. It is absolutely the beginning. We have this revelation, you will, this paradigm shift that is happening in the nutritional and cleansing space is actually being unveiled because it is so massive over the course of the whole year of 2020, beginning slowly at NYKO. Don't miss the opportunity. Don't miss the opportunity to get there at NYKO. But this is so massive, so massive. You will see this resonate throughout the year of 2020, and it is setting the course for you guys ultimately to create an impact that is generational. Don't miss this opportunity.
Thank you so much. I'm going to unmute so everybody can say hello and thank you. You guys are unmuted, so send some love to Dr. Plant.
Thank you, Dr. Plant.
Thank you, Dr. Plant.
Plant. Love you.
Thank you, doctor.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Happy Thanksgiving. We'll see you in Phoenix. Good night, you guys.
Thanks, Lauren. Thanks.
Bye, guys.
All right, take care.
Thank you.